6 Warheads. 1 dam. Convoy erased. You clicked for HIMARS on Belgorod. You're in the right place. Tonight, we break down the hydrostrike blueprint. Why 6 GMLR penetrators, why a near-vertical hit, and how a 98-foot water plume turns into a 43.5 miles per hour surge that tears through a logistics hub. Stay with me because the twist isn't the rockets, it's the decoys that made the radar look the wrong way, and the physics that did the killing. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. They didn't shoot at trucks. They shot at the stop valve of a river. 6 precision strikes, 1 choice of aim point, and now the water does the killing. You've seen artillery rip a line apart.
Day after day of Russia's atrocities, it's easy to become numb to the horror, to lose our ability to feel shock and outrage. 2,600 schools and abducted at least 6,000 Ukrainian children.
That's why the U.S., together with the G7, announced new sanctions targeting 83 Russian entities, including banks and wealth management groups and military supply chains. But the U.S. and allies say they won't lose sight of the need to help Ukraine, and the White House announced it's releasing $10 billion in additional aid.
Here, the flood acts like artillery, mines, and jammers at once because pressure, debris, and silt don't care about battle drills. The target sat where planners like to tuck support. A battalion-scale logistics hub nestled in the dam's shadow, low ground for easy access, road nets braided tight, fuel bladders near the loading bays, antenna masts set for line of sight to higher HQ. Terrain did the shielding, berms, concrete, and the dam's bulk oversaw the yard. Efficiency made it fast. Consolidation made it fragile. Air defenders trusted their kit. Radars roamed for cruise missiles at mid-altitude. Batteries primed for straight-line threats. Concrete walls checked the box for physical cover. But the real risk wasn't inbound from the front. It lived in the dam's crest height, spillway geometry, and the way reinforced concrete fails when energy bites at the seam, not the face. The recon chain built a map you could fight off. Small ISR drones orbited high and quiet, counting parked trucks by axle spacing, picking out antenna farms by shadow length and spacing, and marking which access roads bore the fuel shine. Another team logged the spillway's lip and abutment joints, hunting the thin line where the pore met the older concrete. They weren't chasing the thick slab. They were hunting the stitch. The chosen round fit that job.
In the last 12 months, Russia has killed tens of thousands of Ukrainian men, women, and children.
Uprooted more than 13 million people from their homes. Bombed more than 700 hospitals.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said before he'll consider peace talks, Russia must meet one condition.
Stop shelling us, stop killing civilians.
It wants to continue to brutalize the Ukrainian people, wants to continue to shell their cities and towns.
And yet, the spirit of the Ukrainians remains unbroken. If anything, it's stronger than ever.
A GMLRS penetrator trades wide blast for shaped energy that bites into concrete. More drill bit than sledge. The steel case holds form long enough to punch. The focus jet forces cracks to open where rebar wants to hold. And the goal isn't a crater you can brag about. It's a fracture that water will finish. Guidance made the angle do work. GNSS and inertial navigation set the path, but a terrain follow profile and terminal cues held a steep attack. Steeper hits push energy down into the crest instead of skimming off, opening a lateral crack that runs with the grain of the dam's pore. Less predictability in approach, less time for a battery commander to swing a gun. Meanwhile, a deception layer pulled eyes the wrong way. 2 decoy UAVs with cruise missile signatures lit up the radar picture, slow and steady at a set band, enough to make search radars turn and point defense crews lock on. That electronic bait carved a clean timing window. The real threat rode in from the alternate axis while operators chased ghosts. Then comes the logic you either love or hate. 6 on 1 point. Not across the yard. Not sprinkled on trucks. Stagger the strikes so each impact stacks stress in the same seam.
All right, in other news, Russia has conducted fresh strikes on Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. Ukraine says Russian forces carried out 567 attacks over the last 24 hours.
At least 7 people were injured in a missile strike, while 2 others were hospitalized, and 23 private homes, 12 apartment buildings, and a post office suffered damage. Ukraine and Russia are exchanging fire on multiple fronts. Bridges are being destroyed, cities are burning, and oil depots are under attack.
Grows the microfractures, and hands trapped water a pry bar. Spread the shots and you bruise concrete. Stack them and you break a joint. The reservoir becomes your propellant. When the breach forms, the signal is unmistakable. A vertical plume kicks up, tall, white, violent, the marker of a crest failure. The stored mass moves. It accelerates fast, scooping debris, fuel, and mud, and it carries that mix straight into the low ground. Vehicles that looked heavy now lift and slide. Wheels lose grip, door seals give, batteries short. Radios that sang a minute earlier go quiet, one by one, not from jamming but from drowning. The yard turns hostile in seconds. Access roads become channels. Fuel berms float and tip. A generator skid bangs into a comms shelter and rips cabling out by the roots. Crews can't tow anything because tow points are underwater and the tugs are light on the rear axle. The safest spot, behind the dam, becomes the worst place to stand.
In the last hour or so, we have had more air activity. We could see anti-aircraft fire in the distance. We could hear some distant explosions.
It's a nightly battle for this Territorial Defence Brigade.
We don't know if we're in for another night like we had last night. Last night was one of the worst in the capital in recent months, certainly in terms of the sheer numbers of drones.
Most drones targeting Kyiv fly through here.
And that's the point. Air defense stops nothing once the water moves. Concrete stops nothing once the joint opens. Precision put energy into structure. The reservoir did the rest. If the crest is the trigger, the flood is the warhead. Now the math shifts from breach to area denial, how fast the flood front spreads, what ground it denies, and how long the enemy's lifeline stays cut. Precision into structure beats blast over target. You saw it play out. The pressure did the killing. The breach turned stored mass into a moving weapon, and logistics folded. That's the lesson. Identify the joint, not the face. Use accuracy to unlock physics. Let the environment carry the strike further than explosives ever could. If you want more hard-nosed breakdowns of tactics that bend terrain into a weapon, subscribe and drop the next system you want dissected. We'll keep it real, we'll keep it technical, and we'll call the trade-offs. What would you do? Spend 6 rockets on one breach or spread them across trucks? Comment your choice below.